The Tarrant County Northeast Sub-Courthouse Community Room is about the JPS Health Network Community Forum. As you know, in the previous year, the Commissioners Court, along with the Board of Managers, attempted to promote an $800 million bond package to renovate the existing JPS facilities and to add additional capacity to the existing facilities, including a new facility for mental health. However, due to your voice and your concern, we decided to delay the package so that we can conduct more hearing sessions, listening to your concern and your opinions regarding the role of JPS, regarding the current model of healthcare service delivery. So we have held 3 other hearings, forums in the past, and tomorrow will be your last opportunity. It's very, very important that you as taxpayers show up and speak your concern, express your inputs regarding JPS. As you know, JPS is a tax-supported public hospital. It was formed and created by the Texas state legislature a long time ago with the main purpose of taking care of the indigent population. It has been, I would say, 50 years or so since JPS conducted an open community assessment to reassess the direction of JPS, the role of JPS in the healthcare delivery model in Tarrant County. Questions like, should JPS focus only in indigent care? Or should they also expand their service to provide services for other folks who are non-indigent? And if so, how much? Should that also be a focus? Questions like, should JPS continue its basically centralized service delivery model in Fort Worth? Or should it have a more distributed model with clinics and so forth in Northeast Tarrant County, in Southeast Tarrant County, in the growing area of Tarrant County? And there are many, many other questions that I think is important that you as taxpayers should voice a concern. The leadership of JPS will be there, but more importantly, the consultant, HMA, they will be there and they will ask questions and they will be listening for your inputs. But more importantly, they will be listening for the theme of your input. If only one person raises a concern about a particular issue, that is not a theme. We need to have a number of people raising the same concern. That would be considered a theme. So once again, it is really important for you, the taxpayers of Tarrant County, to be there, to speak your voice in a theme so that your concern and your input will be reflected in this report that they will generate. And the Commissioners Court and the Board of Managers, we will make our decisions on how to finance the renovation as well as the expansion of JPS facilities based on your inputs. So as you know, most of the meetings in the past 6 months or so, we get a lot of inputs, but mostly inputs that are in alignment with the conventional wisdom, okay? And I think we need some more diversity of thought in these community forums. So I'm here to encourage you to take some time to be there at the forum tomorrow. Again, it will be held at 6 p.m. tomorrow at the Tarrant County Northeast Courthouse at 645 Grapevine Highway. It will be your final session. There may be other opportunities, but as far as things that have been scheduled, this will be your final session to raise your concern. And if you have any question, you can call my office or Commissioner Gary Fickus, who is your commissioner, by the way. His number is 817-581-3600. And you can call me as well. My phone number is 817-548-3900. Again, thank you for allowing me to be here.
Hi, I'm Christine Wellborn with Direct Action Texas. I'm not usually the one on the stage, so please forgive me. I'm a little, if you guys get a little I've got a couple announcements as far as events that are coming up. One of them is our local candidate workshop. That one is going to be this Saturday. If you are even remotely interested in running for office, if you know anyone that wants to run for office, for local office, so specifically for city council, it could also be beneficial for school board and that sort of thing, but if you've even thought about it, come to our events. It's going to be really useful. It's going to give you an idea of what you're getting yourself into, an idea of what all is involved. A lot of people go in and they have no idea what all is required of them. But then other times too, it's not as bad as you think it'll be. So we lay everything out for you and let you know what's involved. So then also on the 19th, we'll be having, also with Empower Texans, a local control versus local liberty event. And it's basically going to be addressing some of the things we're going to be talking about in this legislature, which is the state versus your city. So who should have control? Should it be the state that protects your liberties and your higher property taxes and that sort of thing, whether or not your city should be able to ban plastic bags, ban Uber, all of these different issues. We're going to be addressing that. We're going to have Senator Connie Burton, Representative Matt Rinaldi, Carrollton Mayor Pro Tem Anthony Wilder, South Lake City Councilman John Huffman, and Denton City Councilwoman Sarah McGeary. And for those of you who don't know, Denton had a big issue with this with banning fracking, where the state versus the city. So it's going to be a really interesting event, addressing a lot of different issues and who really has your liberty, your best interest involved, and should the local entities be able to rule with direct democracy, or should they have to follow what the state provides for them to do? So that's going to be on the 19th. We have some flyers out there as you're leaving. If you're interested, I don't have the information of how to sign up.
Okay, our door prizes showed up. So there are, I think, like 10 T-shirts in there. They're all size extra large. So, Fran, why don't you help me pick who answers the questions first? So we're going to go back to our trivia questions. But first, is Andy still here? Or does he have to leave? Oh, yeah, right there. Okay, so you guys, I don't know if you grasped the significance of this. Andy is not our commissioner for Northeast Tarrant. Okay, he came here basically as a cry for help. He wants to do the right thing. And he's feeding us the questions. If we don't show up, they're going to tax us. He wants to help stop that. Okay, so talk to him afterward, get his phone number, email him, whatever you got to do. But this is a huge gift he just gave us, and I want y'all to be aware of that. Okay, questions. Some of these I already said in announcements, so I'm going to ask him anyway, so it's going to go fast, Fran. Okay. What big event happens tomorrow? First day of the legislature. Come get a T-shirt. Okay. What happens on April 17th in Austin?
Tea Party Day in Austin.
Right there. Tax Day Tea Party. Number 3. When is our annual fundraiser, Texas Tough?
April 20th.
22nd.
You're going to have to raise your hands, and I saw this lady's hand first. What is it?
Fundraiser.
Yes, but when? Sorry.
April 22nd.
April 22nd. Come get a T-shirt.
Raise your hand, don't shout out the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4. How is Northeast Tarrant Tea Party celebrating the first Republican presidential inauguration since the Tea Party began?
Fuddruckers.
Who got it? Say it loud and clear.
Fuddruckers.
What are the details?
Party, Fuddruckers.
Fuddruckers. January 20th, 6 p.m. or whenever you can get there. It's Dutch Treat. Come get your T-shirt. Dutch Treat, we're just going to have a good time. Okay, there's no agenda. We just visit. We do these dinners every now and then. So it's at Fuddruckers in Bedford, 6 to whenever y'all are done partying. Okay, number 5. Who is next month's speaker at our Tea Party meeting?
Jonathan.
Ken Paxton.
Ken Paxton, Attorney General Ken Paxton. Come get a T-shirt. How many T-shirts I got left? Okay, I got plenty. Okay. Number 6. Who does Donald Trump want for Attorney General?
Kelly, I think, was Sessions.
Jeff Sessions. Come and get a T-shirt.
Yay, Kelly.
Okay. Number 7. What amendment did Senator Cruz just propose that has Tea Party people so happy?
Susan,
Term limits. Number 8. You better watch this one, friend. How many days left until Obama is out of office? Gordon. 11 days. Come on, guys, get a T-shirt. Number 9. What controversial bill did Representative Jonathan Stickland already file? Constitutional carry. Come get a T-shirt. How many do we have?
One
After she gets
left.
hers?
One.
There's just one? Okay. Who is Trump's nominee for Secretary of Energy?
Oh, we know that. Everybody should know that one.
I don't know what to
She doesn't know. We're going to ask another question. It was Rick Perry. Okay. Look carefully, friend. Who is Trump's nominee for Director of HUD?
Oh, we know that one too. There we go. Ben Carson.
Ben Carson.
That's it.
That's it? Okay, thanks you guys. Who's introducing the speaker? Is it you? Fran.
Time for that?
Our keynote speaker tonight is Dwayne Stovall, and where did he go? Oh, there he is. Come on down, Dwayne. Dwayne Stovall is proud to be a Texan. He will tell you that, and it's very evident from looking at his website. He is very proud to be a Texan. He is a lifelong Texan. Grew up in the oil fields around Baytown, Texas, which is in the Houston area. He started his own business called Diamond K Equipment Company in 1996. For over a decade, the business specialized in bridge construction. They have built bridges all over Texas, primarily for the Department of Transportation, from Amarillo to Beaumont and all points in between. In 2011, they branched off into emissions testing for oil fields. He is married to wife, and I didn't notice her name. What is her name? Kathy. His wife, Kathy, and they have 3 lovely children. They are longtime supporters of community youth sports associations, as well as the Tarkington Independent School District, where he is a member of the Board of Trustees. Dwayne ran for Senate against John Cornyn in the 2014 primary. Thank you very much. And with a very small budget and no name recognition and just hard work, he was able to garner 11% of the vote. He intends to run again in 2020. So he needs our support and appreciation, and he does have a table out front where he is happy to take your donations, and I did find a basket to put out there for you. And he's got some promotional materials and I think some books to sell, and he'll tell you about all that. Please welcome Dwayne Stovall.
I'm sorry. I gotta find the guy, but I gotta get you sounded up first.
Oh.
We'll do it manually.
Check it, and I'll step here and grab a clicker out of this box. Y'all don't want to see me up there doing it by hand. Check, check, check. How's that sound? Don't watch me. Hello, check, check, check.
Can you hear me now?
Hang on, I'm gonna park a car. You want a prize of that? Okay. Appreciate y'all for coming out. We'll be back next Thursday. Tonight we're going to, it's going to seem like you've gone back to school and it's Civics 101, and we're going to talk about some things that most everybody already knows, but hopefully we're going to get into a few areas that you've never really thought about in this way, and I'm going to try and give you a little different way to think about politics in general, about this government in general. Some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight are probably going to be a little bit of a knee-jerk for everybody. You may find yourself disagreeing with some of what I say almost immediately, but when you do that, I'm just going to ask that you kind of weigh it out. If you've got questions about what I'm saying, go ahead and raise your hand. We're going to discuss this. If you see something or hear something that's just totally against what you've been taught, speak up. Everybody in here has been taught almost the same way, including me. A lot of what I'm going to talk about with you tonight became apparent to me over the last 10 years of my life. I'm 51 years old. I've been married for 26 years. I've got 3 children. My daughter's up here in Dallas tonight. She's 24 years old and in law school at, sorry Sharon, she's at OU. But she graduated her undergrad from Alabama, so she's in front of a TV right now. She doesn't want to be here. She's watching a national championship game. Get Off My State was spawned, and I use that word, yeah. Anyway, it was spawned out of the campaign in 2014 against John Cornyn. Traveling around the state, I hit 150 different counties of the 254. I spoke to probably 15,000 people during that campaign. I figured out almost immediately how little we all really know about the Constitution and what it created. Although most of us, especially those of us who are, I don't know, activists or Tea Party members or consider ourselves really, conservative-based, whatever, most of us really contradict ourselves. We like to hold up the Constitution, we like to quote Jefferson, but we really don't get it. Hopefully tonight I'm going to open up some avenues for discussion for you. Well, maybe. Are we not active here? Oh, man, this is going to be rough on me. Okay. I'm going to ask y'all a general question to start out. I ask this, the first part of this presentation is the same thing I do in front of every presentation. And I've done these presentations as far away as San Jose, California. Believe it or not, there's conservatives in San Jose, California. Believe it or not. I'm going back out there in August to speak to a group called the Conservative Forum of Silicon Valley. I had no idea these people existed, but they do. That said, general question. Do you live in the United States of America in the free and independent state of Texas? Simple question, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trick question.
Take notes, there's going to be a test at the end of this. Or, I'm going to rephrase this, think about it this way. Or, do you live in the United States, singular, the state of America in the county of Texas? What? Oh, what? Double take? What? Think about that for a minute. Do you live in the county of Texas in the United States of America? I'll put it to you this way. Is there a single state in the entire union that manages its own affairs? No. Not even close. I mean, not even close. Texas is nowhere close. The most basic understanding of the Constitution are the principles that it was founded on. When they were in Philadelphia, they created a document. That document had 3 predominant principles. If you understand these principles, it doesn't matter whether you've got a 6th grade education. It doesn't matter. If you understand these principles, you have enough knowledge to make a smart decision on who you're electing, what kind of policies they're putting forward, what the government's doing, how it's behaving. And part of this leads into, does everybody understand that the Constitution was written so that anyone could pick it up and read it and understand it, generally? It was not written so that we laymen would have to be talked to by learned educated academics or attorneys to tell us what it means. You understand that? Everybody that's ever read Madison knows that he said it plainly, that we were not to write laws that were so voluminous and, conflated that the common citizen couldn't read them and understand them. So today what happens if they want to write a resolution on how to get to the bathroom in the Capitol, it's 10,000 pages, right? Limited government, republicanism, and federalism. These three principles, if you understand the core, the basis of these three principles, you've got it. You've got all you need to know. And these are the things you've got to share with your kids. Limited government's a very simple concept. As a matter of fact, it's interchangeable with the term liberty. I hate that I'm standing here. I feel like I'm blocking you. Limited government and liberty go hand in hand. I think everybody can grasp the fact that the smaller a government is, the more free the people are, right? There's never been a government in the history of mankind that got so large that people were so much more free. It just doesn't work that way, right? Larger government grows, the more oppressed people become in groups, and sooner or later they all become oppressed. Republicanism is a very important concept, very. And we're going to step into a whole lot of different areas right now with everybody because this is going to touch on scale. And I don't know if anybody in the room has ever discussed the issue of scale, but it affects every single aspect of your lives. All day, every day. This government, every bit of it. What it is, republicanism is the concept that we are going to be represented by those we elect. Simple, right? This one. Are you talking about the controller? When you are in a republic, or you have a Republican form of government, you're going to be represented by those we elect, right? Now, how many of you have read the Constitution, the original formula for how many citizens per... Originally it was around 30,000. Okay, it's still in there. You can still find it. It's in black and white. Now, why was that? George Washington chaired the entire meeting in Philadelphia, and he said very, very little the whole time he was there, but he did speak on this. And he would have liked to have had a smaller number than what we had. They labored over this. Some wanted 10,000, some wanted 50,000, they ended up with 30,001. Why is that? Well, it's simple. If you lived in a community of about 30,000 people or so, there was a very high likelihood that you would know the person personally that you were voting for. And a very high likelihood that you would at least know someone that knew that person personally. And you would have what we have none of today, context of character. We have zero context of character today. Zero, less than zero, nada. There is almost no one that sees their representative at the market or at the grocery store or at the gas station or pick your store or church or breaks bread with them. Almost no one has that personal understanding of who that representative is. What we have are multi-million-dollar ad campaigns every few years to tell us they're just like us.
Yeah.
Well, folks, they're not just like us. By and large, they leave us, they go 1,300 miles to our east. We don't know who they break bread with, who buys them lunch, who they answer to, who gives them the big dollars, but we do know they don't answer to us.
Yeah.
And that is because of scale. Why is that? Because 100 years ago, almost exactly, slightly over, we had a sitting Congress that went through a spell where there was going to be a large change in the population across the United States. There were going to be incoming states and a big jump in population. Well, everybody understands the only way the only way we were going to adjust the number of representatives was based on incoming states or 10-year census, the population, right? So in Texas, we don't know anything about redistricting, right? Well, think about it this way. They had a time around 1910 to 1913, wonderful period, right? We're all talking about the beginning of the progressive era. There'll be a lot of that in this presentation. Where you had a sitting Congress, there were 435. They had a large influx of population that was fixing to change a lot of situations for different congressmen, and they decided amongst themselves that, 435 is plenty. We just don't need any more. There's plenty of us. and they wrote House rules to set themselves up at 435, and then they passed a Representation Act around 1927 or 28 in that period that solidified it. Was it constitutional? No. There was no internet for everybody to jump on board, and there really wasn't anybody worried about it, because at that time, the government didn't affect anyone daily. No one got up every day worried about what the government was doing to them. So they just did it. So you got this situation where it just happened. So at that moment, the Republican form of government, that was the last day we had. Because at 435 at a ratio of 30,000 to 1, we were within that scope. From that day forward, they stayed at 435, and where are we today? We are now sitting at around 850,000 of us to one member of Congress. There is no way on God's green earth that you can know anything about the people that are in Congress, personally. There is 1 in 50, 70, 100, 200,000 of us that have any context of who they are. That's why people get so excited if they happen to show up somewhere and they get this. Oh, he's so nice. I'm going to vote for him.
Right.
Right? So, is this an issue? It's absolutely an enormous issue. Is it an issue in Texas? Yes. If the framers in Philadelphia wanted a ratio of around 30,000 to 1 on a U.S. state scale, right? In Texas, just in our state, we've overshot that by 6 times already. We've got around 180,000 of us to one member of the state house. Try that out. You want to feel some pain? Walk down the center of the Davis over here and ask how many people what the name of their state representative is. It's awful. It is absolutely awful. Texas is on the same path. Now, I talked about scale. I'm going to show you, this is relevant. This is how scale works in our lives, okay? We're going to pick any issue that we deal with, and education is one of the largest ones. I sat on a school board for a number of years. I've got a wife who's a special ed teacher. We've been around education for 25 years. I'm telling you, here, let this speak for itself. The importance of scale on a single issue. We'll use education. Here's Belgium and the Netherlands. If you were to combine Belgium and the Netherlands, they're around 29, maybe 30 million people, somewhere around the neighborhood of Texas, right? So we're comparable in population. What if you were to tell all the parents of school-age children in Belgium and the Netherlands that every single aspect of the daily lives of their children's education, what they eat, what time they go to school, how many hours they're in, what they teach, was going to be in the hands of a few hundred people in Germany? Do you think they'd go for that? Well, you haven't even started yet. What if we were going to tell them that a few hundred people in the Czech Republic were going to control every aspect of their children's education? How about a few hundred people in Poland? Gets better? How about Belarus? If you told them a few hundred people in Moscow were going to control every aspect of their daily lives, they would have a meltdown. Right? 1,350 miles. You see where I'm going with this? Good old Texas, right? Around 30 million of us. 1,350 miles from Austin to D.C. We have the exact same scale as if the people in Belgium were told that their children were going to be controlled by a few hundred people in Moscow. And people will say, well, that's not relevant. We're in the United States. Yeah. It's absolutely relevant. Amen. Absolutely. The last principle that you need to understand is federalism. And I save it for last because it is so very important. Federal government, federal this, federal that. The Constitution is a federal document. Federalism was the most important of all of the principles that they used. James Madison in Federalist 45 described federalism. He said that the powers delegated by the proposed Constitution to the federal government are few and defined. I don't think you need to go take any classes to figure out what few and defined means, right? Those which remain in the state governments are numerous and indefinite. Few and defined versus numerous and indefinite. This is what they sold the Constitution. This is in New York predominantly. By the way, the Federalist Papers weren't seen very far and wide, so people who use them them to base their arguments on things. They didn't, half the states had already ratified the Constitution before the documents even got there, so they weren't that impactful. But around New York, for the Madisons and the Hamiltonians and all that, this is his description of the function of that government. This is the basis of that government. Why do I use this picture? The young lady represents the states. The dog represents the federal government they created. It's on a leash. It's looking to her for guidance. She's leading it. Right? This is the best thing I could find to represent what federalism is. This is not federalism. Hang on, I'll let you catch your breath. This is not federalism, but this is what we deal with. This is what we deal with. This is the scope of our government right now. That Constitution created a federal government with limited power. We all like to talk about it. Limited government. We're all for limited government. Oh, folks, none of us have lived in a situation or in a period of time where we had limited government. Not one of us. What we have today is a national government with unlimited power. Make no mistake about it. This is a national government. Not federal, national. We are covered up with what is known as nationalism. Nationalism is when all power is held by the central government, with the states being utilized as subordinate administrators. Remember your county? We're in the old county of Texas. You want to upset a state representative?
Yeah.
Ask them to be honest with their constituents. And they'll say, I am honest with my constituents. You go, yeah, if you're not that honest, go down to the Capitol, walk out there to that pink rock, and pull that state capital of Texas off, and put what should be up there. And they'll say, well, what is that? Branch office of the national government.
That's what it is.
That's all it is. Folks, we elect people to go to Austin, and I'm a simple guy. I deal in all funds. I've been going to Austin for 20 years. I wasn't proactive in Austin until about 7 years ago, maybe 4 sessions ago. I wasn't proactive. I was a contractor. I went there every month for 20 years, for 15 years, just to be there for bid letting. But I was curious. I wanted to see, well, how do they distribute money for highway funds? And when I figured out how bad that was, I stayed around the house, because I was out there during session, out of session, special session, didn't matter. So I got to hang around. What you hear inside the Pink Dome, and some of you will agree to this, is nothing like what you hear at home. If you hear anything at home, that's another issue. But when you are down there in the Pink Dome and you talk about all funds, if I told everyone in this room, my brain's locking on the 82nd legislature, so we're going to go back a couple of sessions, but they're all average. In the 82nd, we took in $82 billion, thereabouts, in taxes. That's what all of us paid in the state of Texas. What do you think they spent? About $195 billion. That's all funds. If you get into a discussion with most of the state reps, and I've had this discussion, Jonathan wouldn't do this, I've had this discussion with them, y'all got some really good ones up here, by the way. But there are those, like where I was, who finally got out of office, thank goodness, but you get into a public forum with him, he's going to talk about that 1/10 of a tax that he had reduced off of this particular item that's in the budget over here that means nothing to you. But he's going to hang his hat on it. But if you get up in a forum and you say, well, hang on a second, we only took in $82 billion, but we spent $195 billion, how does that work? Well, you know, we're subsidized. And they'll say, it's our money though. The federal government takes that from us, so we just get it back. No. We get back a portion of what they take from us. But folks, we're not a donor state. We're a recipient state. Don't let anybody fool you. We take in more than we pay them. Cut and dry. They can pay it any way they want. The fact is, we are a subsidized budget. And without the federal money, we can't survive. So what we're actually doing is electing people to go there and fight over how much of that money they can get back that they've stolen from us, and what they have to give up to get that money in return, which is Common Core. What the water shower head pressure is in your bathroom, how much water is in your toilet,
Yep.
So there's this arrangement, it's extortion, basically. Now, we go on and talk more about the federal level because they have their own issues. In Texas, we spend on average about 50% more than we take in taxes on a regular basis. It's almost, yeah, it's pretty consistent. The federal, you're looking at a federal government that spends on average 33% more than it takes in taxes. But where does it get its money? In currency. Right, they've got fiat currency. So they devalue the dollar by printing more and more and more of it, creating more and more debt. Because, you know, they don't really have to worry about that, because most of them are going to be long down and gone and dead before it all collapses around their grandkids' ears, and they don't really care. It sounds good as an election soundbite, but really doing something about it, we're really not going to do that. It's kind of like this whole, we're going to repeal Obamacare, but we're going to replace it. Anybody in the room show me in the Constitution where they have the authority to manage health care? No? Anybody can tell me why nobody gets up every single day at the microphone in either one of the houses and says, oh, by the way, fellas, we don't have the authority to do this, so we're going to repeal it, and we're going to let the states manage it.
Imagine that.
You got me? Anyway, so we've gone from this federal government to this national government. How, when, where, how, what, all of these questions you can ask. Everybody in this room has been at a breakfast table with family members or in a restaurant or having coffee at the local cafe or whatever and had this discussion. Well, when did it get off the rails? How did we get here? Everybody would have an answer. And everybody would be basically right. But for the argument tonight, we're going to streamline it into the biggest players in the discussion. This is the biggest group in the discussion. Supreme Court justices have been at the helm, driving us into this nationalism, this national government, expanding authority, creating this larger and larger government. They've been at the helm. Now, I could sit here and say they are solely responsible, but when you leave here tonight, I hope I change a large portion of the way you view politics and government in each office. Thomas Jefferson said that the Constitution on this hypothesis is a mere thing of wax in the hands of the judiciary, which they may twist and shape in any form they please. I think we could all agree that they've gotten there, right?
For years.
Yes, today, I heard somebody say earlier, we just need to follow the Constitution. They haven't followed the Constitution in over a century. Well over a century, close to a century and a half. What do they follow? Folks, you have a Constitution over here, and you have a body of case rulings over here. That's right. We follow judges' rulings. We don't follow anything that resembles the Constitution. You understand? That's the reality of the world we live in. Body of case rulings. That's what we deal with. Case precedent leads us. So today, if a state wants to place the name of God in a public building, make it a crime to burn a Texas or U.S. flag, recognize marriage as one man and one woman, decide pornography is not art, criminalize abortion, controls birth control, decide not to pay for the education of illegal aliens, require persons to show proof of citizenship, and yes, manage the bearing of arms as they see fit. What happens? They get sued. So when you walk into a state representative's office, these are real-time stories, I'm not guessing, and you sit down and you show them something that is absolutely righteous, and they will sit there and they will go, you are so right. And they will turn to their legislative director and he'll go, that sounds really good. We've got to run it by legislative council. And you sit down with legislative council and you get the first of many, the Supreme Court will never go along with this. And you go, well, okay, well, this has to do with Texans in the state of Texas. Has nothing to do with the federal. Yes, well, the Supreme Court ruled in another state is something similar, and they're never going to go along with this. Okay, well, we don't really care if the Supreme Court's going to go along with it, because it's none of their business.
Amen!
But we're going to, this is me speaking out loud, I'm telling you what they're thinking in their head. But we're going to make it their business because we're going to allow these cases like this to go to them, and we're going to go beg for their mercies on the court that they'll rule the way we want them to. But we know they're going to rule against us, but we're going to keep continuing to play the game and burning Texas wealth and treasure trying to chase these ghosts. They don't get it. They just don't get it. When you leave here tonight, are you going to get it? You're going to know more than 98% of the people in your own legislature and almost all of your Congress. I throw this up here as an aside. I do another presentation about the Incorporation doctrine. Some of you in here know what it is. Most of you probably don't. It's okay. None of us are taught this in school. I definitely wasn't. This is something that I've come on to the last 10 years of my life, and it's a deep, deep, deep subject. What I will tell you is this, and I'll just plant the seed. You can go home and research it yourself. The Bill of Rights and the Federal Constitution never intended to apply to the states. It just wasn't. It's crystal clear it wasn't. That is a progressive creation of 20th century judges. It was never intended to apply to the states. When you hear someone say Second Amendment, and they want to go argue with your state legislators about government, the Second Amendment doesn't apply to your state.
That's right.
And when you get into this discussion, and I find it very disheartening sitting on a school board, I had about 15, 16-year-old students at my home visiting over something we did at our church, D-Now, and I had a chance to visit with them like away from school. So I said, hey fellas, just curious, how many of y'all can tell me what's in the Bill of Rights? Well, where I live, which is nothing like here, my whole county could probably fit in, the people in my county could probably fit in one city block here. We've got a lot of deer hunters, we got a lot of hunting going on in Liberty County. So the first thing all these kids knew was Second Amendment. They all know that. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and beyond that it was really nothing. So I went on and I said, well, what's in your state Bill of Rights? Crickets. We have a state Bill of Rights? Sure do. 49 other states have a Bill of Rights too. They mean something. That Federal Bill of Rights is an unlimited document that's supposed to be the rules for the federal government. It's not supposed to apply to the states. That's a creation out of thin air. It's a bastardization of what the document was supposed to do. And we all live by it. And we slam our chests. We root by it. Freedom of speech. Good Lord, y'all know who Denise Parker was, our old mayor down in Houston. Remember when she went after the pastors? Right? They had a big rally down there. Do you think they went down there and said, Article 1, Section 6 and 8 of the Texas Bill of Rights says, no, First Amendment in the federal Constitution. I like to have a meltdown down there. Folks, you have a Bill of Rights. It has those words in it. Use it.
Come on.
In Texas. Folks, you talk about the Second Amendment, and I'm going to move on to the next thing. You talk about the Second Amendment. Everybody understands the Bill of Rights in Texas. What is it, Section 23? We have a right to bear arms. Does everybody in here understand that in our Constitution, in our Bill of Rights, we give the authority to regulate those arms to the state? We give it to them. It's in black and white. It's the last caveat of your right to bear arms. The state's going to reserve the right to regulate the wearing of those arms without more safety. Or something of that nature. If you give the state the right to regulate blank, 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 it doesn't matter what the blank, blank, blank is. You give them the authority to regulate. So our issue is not the Second Amendment. Our issue is getting people in Austin to make sure that they put language in there that will secure that. That federal government's not supposed to be dealing with that. Now, this is where we go, we're going to get a little more uplifting here. Can it be stopped? Can this nationalism be stopped? Yes, it absolutely can. And I got to tell you, this is a personal, I'm going to share this with you, it's a personal viewpoint. I used to think that we would all come together arm in arm, and organically we would just rise to our feet. And together, we conservatives and Christians and people of faith would come together and we would make this all go the right way. And I don't believe that anymore. I believe that it's going to be one person. Just one. And I'm not saying it's going to be me, but it's me or somebody in this room, or somebody on the other side of the state, or somebody in another state. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be one person. I've studied this long enough now that I understand the concept of agitating people to their feet in mass. It's not that they're in mass already. We don't do that. We don't organically do this. There has to be that lightning strike. And if there's one person who can articulate that message to get people to their feet so that they will get together and create that firestorm, that's what it's going to take. But it's going to have somebody with a bully pulpit. I run for U.S. Senate because that position singularly can turn an entire state in one direction with the right message. One. And all it takes is one state. You get one state to do the right thing and see it show the example. Remember the salt and light? The rest will follow. And if they don't follow, fine. Let them not follow. Let the people, folks, federalism is a simple concept. If they write laws in Connecticut that recognize Adam marrying Steve, what does it have to do with Texans? Nothing. But in Texas, if we properly execute an amendment to our Constitution that recognizes a millennia traditional biblical principle of one man and one woman, what business is it of the people of Connecticut?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Now, if we allow each other the respect to do what we wish as a community in our state and their state, the people in Connecticut who more align with us, who are that focused on that principle, and it means that much to them, they will move here and we'll assemble. And all of Travis County will catch the next red eye. You understand? If you feel like the level of animosity and basically hate has gone up over the last 25 years, it's because it has.
Amen.
It has. And it's nationalism. It's the idea that you live in a community. You are in the United States. We are being taught, we are multi-generations into being taught that what happens in Connecticut, we need to treat like it's just the neighborhood. That's the county of Connecticut. We need to influence them. No. We need to go, that's terrible, and you need to take care of your business the way you see fit. And when we have an issue here, you need to respect us enough to let it take care of it according to our moral values and traditions. You got it?
Yes.
Now, since we're all connected on this, I'm going to give you one more example. Everybody remember, I'm going to bring up a name that goes unspoken generally. I think you would agree. Wendy Davis.
Oh! Yeah.
Bad taste. Bad taste.
Everybody remembers the Wendy Davis debacle, right?
Yeah.
She's going to go up. She's going to be the one who has the big, what's the word for it? When they were going to go for the vote, she was going to come out the filibuster, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened the day of the big showdown? There were buses that showed up at the state capitol. Where were they from?
Out of state.
Weren't from Tarrant County, were they? Michigan?
Yeah.
New York? Now I'm going to show you how deep this nationalism runs in our state. Not a single member of the House, not a single member of the executive branch of the state of Texas who was interviewed ever brought up a single thing other than its First Amendment. They have the right, They're here, they're here. They got a right to speak, they have a right to voice their opinion. And I'm going to tell you now, if I would have been lieutenant governor, or if I'd have been anywhere near that bus and had any kind of a seat of office of authority in the state, can you imagine what it would have been like if David Dewhurst had walked to the bus, opened the door, and said, "Hey, y'all, we're really glad to have you, but right now the people that represent the business of Texans is doing business. So if y'all want to go on down to the Alamo and take some pictures, great. If y'all want to go down here to 6th Street and help keep Austin weird, knock yourself out. But if you're here to disrupt the business of Texans, we're going to lock you up."
There you go.
And if you don't want to do this, we've got some of the DPS Texas' finest right here, and we're going to give you a free of charge escort back to Texarkana, and y'all can head right on back home. Be safe here. That would have changed the discussion overnight.
Yeah.
And if you'd have understood, or anyone like him would have understood the context of federalism, the context of where your state has authority, the context of the federal Bill of Rights applying to the federal government, then the next day he could have easily said, hey, look, sorry, but we have a Bill of Rights in our state of Texas. And by the way, you're not going to disrupt the business of Texas. And we're not going to go to New York and disrupt your business. We're going to give you that respect. Don't you come here and do it to us.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You want to keep the level of animosity down? You want to make it so you can still send cars to your crazy cousin? Love you. You know, you still want to do free market exchange. You want to go to a restaurant, maybe somebody that doesn't necessarily agree with you, but they have a great sandwich, but you're going to go give them money for it and say hi and shake hands, so that you're not on polar opposite ends of this political spectrum that's just running everybody in the ground. Federalism. That's how you get away from that. Freedom to assemble. Folks, we have no idea. We've destroyed freedom to assemble. Destroyed it. It's gone. We like saying it, but we don't think about it. You got a national government right now that forcibly puts you next to people you would not be with otherwise under the guise of tolerance.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Think about that. For our Christian friends, our believers, everybody understands. It doesn't say, you know, it might not be a good idea to be connected to non-believers. No, it says, you shall not be unequally yoked to non-believers. You know why? Because a barrel of nice, fresh red apples with one bad apple in it doesn't make the bad apple good. Got it? But this is a two-way street. Understand this. They don't need to be unequally yoked to us either. There's no way you're going to bring anybody to your faith by force. It's not going to happen. If it's not coming of an open heart, you're not getting it. So, this doesn't work well for anybody concerned. Nobody. These folks are not going to be the ones that stop it. Now, I know I don't need to tell you all that. Okay? I know I don't need to tell you all that, but I just reaffirm for any question marks in the audience who might say, well, you know, we'll just give you one more chance.
That's more offensive.
Just give one more chance. That third guy in the line, he's the worst one in the bunch.
How did you get this?
I have no idea.
Oh my God! Horrible.
Anyway, these guys are not going to be the ones to do it.
No.
But it is going to be that group. It's going to come from there. Sooner or later, we're going to have that one person in one of those chambers who's going to articulate the argument. Because, folks, the argument I'm giving you right now works just as well in Travis County. Because it's a liberty, freedom argument. I don't want to see any of my LGBT, ABC folks going to jail. I don't care about them going to jail. I don't want anybody hung up in the street corner. What I want is the freedom to believe, and I want them to have the freedom to you. Liberty is a nasty business, okay? Freedom is a nasty business. I like it described this way. You have the freedom to be you, and you should. But that freedom also says, I have the freedom to be free from you. Got it?
Amen.
I don't need a government pointing a gun to my head and saying, you are going to have this person in your life. Article 3 in the Constitution. How many of you in here have read it? Be honest.
I've read it. I just don't
Read it
remember.
or
We all hyper-focus on what? Article 1, Section 8. With authority in Article 1, Section 8. This is a layman's talk, folks. If you've got something you want to say it. Because I didn't finish college. I got 3 kids. I don't know, my last one's an anarchist. He and I get along really well, so I don't know what he's going to do. Oh, God, love you. Simple question. Article 1 was written for who? Congress. Article 2 was written for executive. Article 3 was written for judicials. Wrong. Article 3 was written for the Congress. Who said that? What? Article 3 was written for the Congress. They didn't have a Supreme Court then. Article 3 established one. There are literally 2 references in the Article 3 that even direct the Supreme Court in any way, shape, or form. All the rest of it's written for the Congress. Nobody's ever seen that? Oh, this is good. And just so you know, it's one of the smallest articles in the Constitution, so we can go over it really quick. Article 3, Section 1 says the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court. That's the first one. There's going to be a Supreme Court. We can't do anything about that. There has to be one. By the way, that's proper spelling. I don't know where in historical relevance we came up with capital S, but it was never a capital S. Throughout the framing, the forming of it, it was a lowercase s. And you can even read the biggest big government people's description of the Supreme Court, and even Hamilton himself even said, a simple reading of the document will show you that they are the weakest and most non-effective portion of the government. He said that. Oh, and just for, I heard this description made the other day, and it fits perfectly. If you look at these books over here on the counter, you'll find those are my go-to reading documents. One about the government by judiciary. There's a politically incorrect guide to the Constitution, and another book up there called James Madison, The Making of America. Those were written by a guy named Dr. Kevin Goodsman, who, by the way, reached out to me and said he'd be my chief of staff if I could get elected. So, you want to be channeling some framers? I'm the guy. Anyway, he made a description. He said what people get away from is that during the ratification period, there were two groups. We all know them as Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Big government people, little government people, right? What people get crossed up in is that they were both on the same fight. There were two arguments over the government's limited. And the other group was saying, it's not limited enough. You ever heard it that way? Me either. And I've known this man for 10 years. And I've read for the last 10 years of my life straight. And I thought, wow, that's a great analogy. They weren't saying, no, we need to give it more power. None of them were saying that. Both sides were arguing the same. Just one side said it's not restricted enough. Okay? So, you're looking at Article 1, there's going to be one Supreme Court. And in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Now think about that for a minute. Although the Supreme Court, every single thing that goes on in this country, every level of the appellate jurisdiction, all of the appellate courts, all of the lower court, how many there are, where they're located, that's all up to Congress. Whether they exist or not is up to Congress. Could they do away with it tomorrow? Sure they could. That was just an act. It's not in the Congress. That little judicial act, they initiated almost immediately after getting into office. That's an act. Acts can go away. So, Congress has control over everything below the Supreme Court. Now look at this. Section 2, judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority. Now this is a kickback to Article 6. It's actually a forwarding to Article 6. Everybody in here has used the word supremacy before, right? Article 6 is a limiting statement. It doesn't expand authority for the federal government. In very simple language, the Constitution, which the Constitution includes what? A list of restrictions on the federal government, right? Those enumerated authorities? Okay, that Constitution and any law made in pursuance thereof. So if it has to do with those limited authorities, those are supreme. And guess what? The states agreed to that. But everything else outside of that is none of their business. Today, nothing is outside of their scope of business. They can look at anything. So, to all cases affecting the ambassadors, public ministers, you see this list? Now I want you to pay attention. See how you have semicolons separating? That's a list. It's a fixed list. See the period at the end? That's a list of different types of cases. There's less than a dozen, less than 10. So, at any point in there, do you see, oh, and any other case for which they think they might want to take up? No. It's a fixed list. Okay? Fixed. Now, this is where it gets good. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, and those in which a state shall be a party, they shall have original jurisdiction. That's 3 types of cases, right? 3. You can be missing appendages and still count this. Okay? 3 types. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, where it says, those in which a state shall be a party, that sounds pretty broad. It wasn't broad. I'm going to show you what they did. Now, in all other cases before mentioned, remember the list? And that even includes ambassadors, public ministers, and consuls. It's even got some of the original jurisdiction there. But all other cases before listed that aren't the original jurisdiction, in all other cases before mentioned, the Supreme Court shall have appellate jurisdiction, both as the law and the fact. Everybody understand what original jurisdiction means? They own it. If there's an ambassador or agent of the government that gets sued or want to sue them, you can go directly to the Supreme Court and you can file it there. Appellate jurisdiction is a different animal. The Supreme Court will have appellate jurisdiction over the rest of that list, with such exceptions and under such regulations as the Congress shall make. What does that mean? Congress owns them. They own them. So every time you see one of these congressmen lamenting, oh, we're waiting, they think they're going to have a ruling Friday. Well, we're just praying they have a ruling in our favor. I am the worst dream or nightmare they could ever have when I'm near them and they're doing that. You own them. What are you waiting on? Go to the microphone tomorrow morning, pose legislation, get them away from that issue, and take it out of their hands. That's right. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
So, when you're in West Texas, and I use names, when you're in West Texas and you're in front of 80 of the most important people in West Texas, and one of those is Congressman Mike Conway, and you give this discussion, right? And he comes up after the meeting and goes, you know, you gave me a lot to think about. I said, I sure hope so. I said, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you what's on my mind, though. I got a question for you. And he said, okay. I said, I need to know before you walk out of here that you understand that you control the vast majority of what the Supreme Court does. This man's been in office for over a decade and a half. One of George Bush's finest. He says, I think you mean the Senate. I said, and he's got a whole quandary of people standing around behind him who are his little, they all go with him everywhere. I said, no, Congressman, the Senate only makes confirmations. Either chamber controls what the Supreme Court does. And he just looked at me like my golden retriever looks at me when I show him something. And I said, all you have to do, I said, you just made a statement about being pro-life. That's one of my go-to issues. I have an issue about murdering babies in the morning.
Yep. Come on.
I said, he said, yes. I said, so you're pro-life? He said, yes. I said, prove it. And he looked at me and I said, when you get back to that chamber, you go to the microphone and you say, today I'm posing one-line legislation. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? One-line legislation. And say something to the effect of, as of today, we want to demand the issue of abortion back to the states, and we want to remove any and all perceived authority or jurisdiction from the federal Supreme Court from the issue of abortion.
There you go.
Done.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Every state in the Union had their own laws according to their own moral values and traditions up to 1972. Right?
Yeah.
Do away with Roe v. Wade like that.
Yep.
Restart the clock back with the states having a debate and argue the issue amongst themselves,
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yep.
Why?
Yep. Politics.
Because we are all nationalized. Our education system for the last 5 generations has taught us one thing, and that is we have a supreme authority, and that the Supreme Court of the United States is the final arbiter of everything, all the time, everywhere. It's every day. And we all agree. Everybody in this room is looking at this now like, I don't agree. You agreed yesterday. You agreed 30 minutes ago. I guarantee you. Everybody goes, well, think about it now. We have a Supreme Court in the state of Texas, right? If someone takes something that strictly involves the state of Texas, and it goes to the Supreme Court of Texas, and they don't like the answer, it's not over. They just go, whatever, we'll take you to the Supreme Court. Why do they do that? Because we all believe that's how it works. I try to get state legislators for the last 4 sessions to write language into the bills that they write, because they all want to. They want to push back. They want to find that hammer. They want to find a way to tell the federal government to go home. They want to. They feel it. But they can't get over this nationalist view. They're locked into it. So when you go in and you say, look, write a bill that says we disregard, we don't count, we don't recognize the Incorporation doctrine. The Federal Bill of Rights does not apply to the state of Texas. We have a Bill of Rights. We are not going to allow, take marriage. Say we are going to recognize the properly executed amendment to our Constitution authorized by the citizens of Texas, and we are not going to participate in any litigation. And add to it, and this is where it gets funky for them, anyone caught giving aid, information, returning phone calls, mail, or conversing with the federal government in any way, shape, or form having to do with litigation over this legislation will go to jail.
Amen.
Because when we say we're not going to participate, we mean it.
Come on.
Schedule all the hearings you want in downtown Houston at the federal building, and you're going to be there by yourself. Because we're not going to burn the wealth and treasure of Texans fighting constitutional issues that are none of your business.
Amen.
It's tough, folks. It's tough. People have a very hard time grasping that. These are where the big changes are going to happen, okay? It's going to happen. Sooner or later. Now, we're not talking money in here, by the way. We're not talking budgetary means. I don't know that anybody can fix the mess room of that. But when it comes to how we govern, the principles by which we govern, how we protect our own moral fiber in this state, there's a way to do this, okay? There's a way to do this. I put this up here because there's an example. Everybody says, well, how come they haven't done it? Well, they have done it. A modern day example is, everybody remember when they were going to take the people from Guantanamo Bay and put them in private or public courts?
Yeah.
Everybody remembers that just went away. You know why it went away?
Why?
Because Congress wrote a bill to get rid of it. Right? But you don't hear about that because amazingly it worked for them for that. And I don't know why it doesn't work anymore. But other than the fact that they just like having all the authority. Question asked, when did we go off the rails? When did the Constitution quit counting? Everybody says Civil War, everybody says 1913, everybody's got their own idea. I was at a forum with the author, Dr. Kevin Goodson, one time, and they asked the question, and because I'd never had the conversation with him before, I turned and went, okay. This is one of the most renowned scholars on Jefferson and Madison, by the way. And he goes, well, you know, they offered it in they offered the Constitution in 1787, they implemented it in 1789, 1793. And I went, how do you do that? Well, what's 1793? Chisholm v. Georgia. Chisholm v. Georgia. In 1793, a citizen of South Carolina sued the state of Georgia over an estate. That's it. But the Supreme Court decided to get involved and rule. So, the sitting Congress at that time, most of which had a very knowledgeable understanding of what the Constitution meant, right? Do you think they just sat back and went, oh, wow, that's tough, I wish they'd ruled differently? No. They said, you morons, it's none of your business. They wrote the 11th Amendment immediately. Judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity committed or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state. Folks, Congress controls them at every step. You could make that Supreme Court so small you'd never know they existed. But we don't, because we're all caught up in this progressive era of growing government. Even Republicans.
Come on.
Even Republicans, right up with it. That is basically the end of the program that I wanted to show you how important Article 3 is and how simple it is. And all I would encourage everybody to do is try to rethink how you view presidential debates, voting for presidents, Supreme Court justice nominations, because when you want to really build your ladder up for somebody, it's not going to be the president. The president is the weakest link in the chain. As a matter of fact, if you had a Congress or either a Senate or a House of Representatives that actually did their jobs, you could have Karl Marxes across the board as Supreme Court justices, wouldn't matter. You understand? So the idea that we're all raising this concept that we have three co-equal branches of government, that's a disaster. It was never intended that way. That's why there's so many more people in the House of Representatives. So I hope everybody kind of picked up a new item or two. If you got any questions, hit me up. I don't know if y'all got time to take any questions.
Yeah, you got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Sure. Does anybody got a question? Yes, sir.
How do we get back to that?
How do we get back to that? Well, financially, I don't think we go back, but governing-wise, what I'm telling you tonight, everybody here, anybody have a light go on and go, holy crap, you're kidding me. Well, it goes like that everywhere, everywhere. Whether I'm talking to somebody in California where they have much huger issues with governments than we do, and much bigger financial issues than we do, or I'm in Oklahoma, or whether I'm down here, wherever, it's the same thing. What I firmly believe is that if you told the general population en masse that this is how it operates, then I think the heat would be moved. We allow our congressmen for the last 30 years to kind of dance around the target, and they kind of point to the Supreme Court, and we stand there with them and go, yeah, that Roberts, that Roberts. But the fact is, it's not Roberts. It's none of them. It's our own representation in the chambers. And when people make that argument, well, we got to vote for that guy for president because he's going to make the nominations. Well, yeah, technically he's going to make the nominations, but good Lord, folks, do y'all know how many hundreds of federal judges have been confirmed over the last 8 years?
Yeah, quite a few.
By Republicans.
Yep.
The guy I run against, John Cornyn, supporting all kinds of awful federal judges. But he's a judge. It's one of those things. It's the system. He was totally learned. I'm glad Sharon's here because it's rare that you find anyone, and this is not a knock against the legal profession. I'm telling you, my daughter's in law school now. It is a training. You are inundated in what's called the case method. You get case methodology training. So when you go take common law, all 50 states require you to take common law. If you say you take common law and you're a lawyer, well, automatically everybody in the family down the street says, well, you're a constitutional expert. You want to know something about the Constitution, you're talking about cousin, right? No, doesn't work that way. Constitutional law in law school is all about law and the body of case rulings, and almost nothing about the document and the history of it. So you get arguments like I get into with my lawyer, who's just turned 40. I've known him for 10 years. And you get these discussions that are, well, you know, Warren said, or Judge Black said, and you go, yeah, but Senator Howard, who carried that amendment in the Senate, didn't say that at all, and that's not what they agreed to when they wrote it. Well, they don't know anything about that, right? They just know legal precedent. So, really, legal precedent is an opportunity for them to take a really evil, bad ruling and expand on it.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
You're
Instead
right.
of 11%, if you had won 51%, what was your term going to look like?
I would have upset everybody in Texas the first month. I came out and said, okay, we're going to shut down every single senator's office for Cornyn in the state, and I'm not going to reopen them. And I'm going to go see the governor, and I'm going to say, find me a closet in the state capitol. Give me a phone, and I'm going to put somebody there. And then I'm going to retrain every single one of my brethren here in Texas that this is not how it works. The pecking order is this. I'm going to the state capitol, and I'm going to have a talk with 181 of my brethren and sisters. And I'm going to tell them you are now on notice because, in case y'all are wondering, U.S. senators are overpaid gophers. Okay? They represent the state legislature. That's the origins of the office. And if you hallucinate that somehow they represent 29 million people, you and I need to sit down and have coffee. This is a physical, math happens. It can't work. So for me, the best way I can find under the circumstances we have today is to get rid of all those offices, have one office at the Capitol, have a very small, closed connection with every single House rep and every single senator in Texas and the administration, the executives, and then tell everybody there, you are 1 degree away from me. You have a state representative that you can get to. That's your state representative. If you have an issue with what's going on in the Senate, you have an issue with my behavior, you have an issue with something that's coming down the road or how it's going to affect you, got a question, you go to them. You can get to them still, somewhat. You can still get to them. That leaves them one phone call from me directly. And that changes the pecking order. If you got 29 million people trying to get a hold of an individual, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And it changes the dynamic. Your predominant responsibility as a U.S. Senator is to represent the state, not individuals. You're not representing people, citizens, as individual citizens or districts. You're representing the entire state. So what the legislature says needs to have influence over that guy or woman. So you shouldn't be up there voting for TPPs and expanding debt on future generations of unborn Texans. You shouldn't be up there doing things like that. But they're relevant. For me, I think you draw the Texas legislature back into the formula and tell them, okay, there was a 17th Amendment. Most of y'all know what that was. Did away with the states choosing their senatorial representation, which was the only check the states really had, by the way. And that went away in 1913 too. But if you could convince everyone that, elect me, and I'm going to show you how that job works, according to George Mason, the way it was originally designed, I'll answer to the legislature. And we'll go from there. You're never going to get rid of the 17th Amendment. By the way, I've authored 2 bills that are proposed down in Austin right now, and I think we've got a sponsor for one, and then the other one's probably going to have a sponsor too. But one of them goes around the 17th Amendment. You want to hear it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you're going to have to listen because you're not going to like it when they come out and advertise it. Right now, we're all stuck in this mentality of we the people, we need to have a voice. I want to be the one voting on my senators, right? Well, that's a disaster because of scale. None of us know who they are, so we're just voting really on good ads, great marketing. So the idea is you put that person back down in front of that 181 people in the legislature. Well, how do you do that without messing up the 17th Amendment? Well, the way I've got it written is that we will allow any group in the state legislature that's represented, meaning whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Greenie or a Libertarian or an Independent, no count as a classification. If you got enough enough support in your district to get elected to the state house, you're a part of a caucus. Every single one of those will get to put forth a candidate for the general, no primary on this side. So it'll do away with a little bit of apathy on some parts of people who think they're not represented, they're not going to vote for. You're still going to have a predominant party aspect. So you're still going to have a Republican carrying almost all the time, unless they're just off, but still be carried. But it gives them that control. What does that do? Well, it gives them the opportunity to put whoever's going to be the candidate on the ballot for the general. Then once they're in office, it gives the governor and the lieutenant governor and those in the House and the Senate a chance to pick up the phone call and say, hey, listen, this TPP thing that's coming down the pipe, if you don't vote against it, you will not see another candidacy for this office. Right? So you'll be right back being controlled basically by the House and the Senate the way it's supposed to be. It gives them some type of check on you. Yes, sir.
So you're saying getting rid of the people voting for the
U.S. Senate.
for the U.S. Senate or for the candidate or for the
No,
nominee?
it still follows. The 17th Amendment only requires that it's popularly elected.
You just don't have a primary.
They just don't choose the candidate.
Oh,
The candidate comes out of the legislature.
I got you.
Yeah. And there's one other, I'll tell you real quick. Right now, we amend our Constitution by popular vote. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Scale.
You mean state or federal?
State. Okay. Our Constitution, our state Constitution.
Right.
Scale. Does everybody understand that this county excluded? There are 4 counties in the state of Texas that can amend the Constitution at will. Did you know that?
Well, if everybody votes.
Bear, Dallas, Travis, Tarrant. Harris. Understand, 3 of those get together, they amend the Constitution. What does that mean? When I'm in West Texas or South Texas, and I'm talking to ranchers, and I say, they're going to come get your water. No, they're not going to come get my water. Yes, they're going to come get your water, and they're going to do it legally. They're going to lawfully come get your property. Why are they going to do that? Because you don't have a voice in how we amend the Constitution. In Texas, we've amended it over 600 times already. Why is that? Because the metropolitan areas dominate.
Yeah.
So we put a proposal in, and we said if it's good enough for the federal Constitution to have 3/4 of the states, it's good enough for the state of Texas to have 3/4 of the counties.
Yep.
So it gives the people in DeWitt County the same stroke as the people in Dallas County.
Yeah.
I've already carried it up there twice. I'm just telling you all, this year we're hoping for a different outcome, but when it gets in front of legislative council, it's automatically well, there was a case like this in Tennessee, and the Supreme Court never go for it. Okay, this doesn't have anything to do with the Supreme Court. It doesn't have anything to do with federal government. This is state of Texas business. This is how we handle our own Constitution. This is how we're going to do it. I think I have a few state representatives now who are willing to start telling legislative council, thanks for the advice, but this is how I want it written. I think. We'll see.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Fran, you're sticking around for a couple minutes?
Sure.
Andy, Christine, wherever you are, back in the back. Those are the people that give our announcements. If you have any questions for them or want to follow up on any of that, please do. But otherwise, have a good night.
Okay.
We got 30 new signups tonight.